Here are the 20 lessons that I've learned in life after being married for 20 years. I celebrated my 20-year anniversary just this month. So this video is for the younger version of me. And I wish I knew some of these insights 20 years ago. Rather than doing dinner dates, we started doing morning dates because I'm telling you, it will just change your relationship. And do a review of the relationship at the end of the year, just like you would do a review for work and see where you are in terms of your goals and aspirations. The first and most important thing for anyone is if your wife or husband loves flowers and Lego, then get her Lego flowers. This is something my husband got for me because I love flowers and I absolutely adore Legos. We've been buying so many Legos for our little ones, and I was looking at this collection and drooling over it. And my husband got it for me for Valentine's Day. So I am so excited to put this together. So I thought something that would be fun is to put the set together. I can talk about it at the end of it and tell you my review about how the Lego flowers actually feel. But also during that time, let's talk about the 20 lessons that I have learned in these 20 years of marriage. My goodness. Rose, snapdragons, common daisy, California poppy. That is so perfect for us. By the way, this video is not sponsored at all. The first and most important lesson that I've learned is communication is key. An open and honest communication is the foundation of any good relationship. Make sure to express your thoughts, feelings, and needs to your partner, and be an active listener whenever you're communicating with your partner. This is a lot of fun. Respect each other's individuality. I have to give my husband a lot of credit for this one because he has always respected what is important to me and allows space for personal growth and individual pursuits. Respecting each other's independence helps you maintain a healthy balance between individuality and togetherness. Ooh, look at that! Adaptability and flexibility. Life is constantly changing, and no one knows this better than all of us who have gone through the pandemic. So adapting to changes in life is crucial. Whether it is career shifts or family dynamics or personal growth, it is important to be flexible. The ability to adapt together will strengthen the relationship. We went through so many changes since the time we started our relationship, and if we would not have adapted to all the changes that we went through with our careers and our personal life, I don't know how we would have been able to stay together. This is so cute. I absolutely love it. It is important to find shared goals and values because sometimes what is important to one of you might not be important to the other person. And what both of us found was it changed over the course of our relationship. During the time we were both super busy with work, we were not paying that much attention to our health. Even though we were going to the gym every day and working out, I think it was just a culmination of everything with bad work hours. He was in his residency. I was working 80, 90-hour shifts at the hospital. And it was just not a very sustainable lifestyle. Something that was important to both of us during that time was to get out and go for hikes and do things outside. And that really helped, one, with our relationship because we used to be out in the open on hikes without both of us being on our devices. It gave us time to talk to each other about various things. And it was such quality time that we used to spend with each other without having to put too much extra effort, and something that we were really enjoying. I would definitely recommend finding these shared values that you both have and are important to both of you, and working on those. Shared values can help you create a strong and long-lasting bond. Okay, this is just too cute. I absolutely love these flowers. Oh my gosh, look at how many details they have put. There's such beautiful attention to detail. There we go. Oh my God. That is so beautiful. Quality time matters. Spending quality time together is very important. And it's hard nowadays with how distracted we all are with our devices, all the 20,000 devices all of us have. And it becomes even harder for us to have that time that we spend with each other. For us, this changed over the time that we both have spent with each other. After we had kids and we were trying to find time to go on dates, we were just used to going on dinner dates. And with the kids, it became such a big hassle to find the time in the evening, get a babysitter, and then go on a date. And also it was like the two of them, so it was just that much harder. And then we hit the pandemic. So what we noticed is that we were not getting that much time for ourselves. And so where we were just the two of us, whether going on a nice romantic date or whether we took time to just sit down and talk about different things, it was just not working out. And what we did was, rather than doing dinner dates, we started doing morning dates. We used to drop our twins to preschool. If you're doing daycares, drop them off to daycares. And then we used to take time off from our schedules in the morning, go for a hike in the morning, and then go for a breakfast or brunch after the hike. And that just absolutely changed how we have started doing dates with each other. Now it's not so much of a hassle to actually find this time with each other. We just have to make sure it works with our own schedules. And that can be a difficult part if you're working different schedules. But it worked for us. And it might be something else that works for you. Don't just think you have to use the traditional ways to spend time with each other. It does not always have to be a dinner date. It could be a brunch date. And you know what? It's awesome because I get to go have a hike, which I absolutely love. And then I get to go have a delicious brunch, whether it's a romantic brunch, whether it's something we're discussing, whether we're fighting it out in the restaurant, all of it. But honestly, it's just helped our relationship so much to just go and have these conversations. So take that time to make an effort to spend time with each other. Even though you think it might be a little difficult, it's not the traditional way. Take that extra time because I'm telling you, it will just change your relationship. Patience and forgiveness. Patience is vital in a long-term relationship. Remember, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. If you want to go the long distance, it is going to be a marathon, and you are going to need patience with yourself, with your partner, and sometimes just with the surrounding environment. All of us make mistakes, and it's important to forgive the mistakes and work through what is important for you and how it can actually make a difference. Look at the rose. This is so beautiful. I'm loving this. Nothing big. Now I just have to do it 3 times. Embrace change together. I think everybody who has been through the pandemic will agree about this, that sometimes you just cannot guess what is going to happen, and it's important to embrace change together, whether it means having a different job, going through a career change, or even having kids. A huge change that we both went through a year apart was losing both our dads. And it's been so heartbreaking and difficult to go through that. But I think it helps having my husband be there with me through that change. I don't know how I would have been able to go through that if it was all on my own. I have an amazingly supportive family, and it definitely helped having my family there while I was going through this horrible time in my life, but having my amazing husband has been key for me to be able to get through this difficult time in my life. When we talk about intimacy, it goes beyond just the physical. And it's important to think of intimacy as emotional, intellectual, and even spiritual. And for both of us, this was very important early on and something that we both connected on, especially when it came to emotional and intelligence intimacy. It helped when we were talking about things that were affecting our careers. Both of us understood what that pain point meant when we were doing crazy call shifts, and most people didn't understand why we were looking like zombies and didn't want to attend any social functions after doing constant call. It was important for both of us to understand that and help each other through that. Cultivating and working on all these different types of intimacy in the relationship helps you have a much stronger and fulfilling relationship. Supporting each other's dreams. This is an important one because it's key to encourage and support your partner's dreams and aspirations. And sometimes they change, sometimes they take a long time, but it's important for you to be the rock piece besides them, which I think for both of us, we have done a great job during our relationship to be that. We've gone through so many different changes in our careers and in our life in general, and both of us have supported each other when it came to our career choices or our decisions and dreams, even though they didn't make a lot of sense to most other people. And being each other's cheerleaders actually helps you create such a fun and nurturing environment. Even to this day, every time a video of mine that goes live, my husband will be the first person to call me and congratulate me on another video going live, because this was such a difficult decision for me when I made it about leaving my career in medicine and going for something completely new. And he will still, to this day, cheer me on and is always the hype person for me whenever I'm having any doubts. Never stop growing and learning. I think it's important for both individuals in a relationship to constantly evolve and grow. And it's impossible to be at that same level that you were when you started the relationship. So the most important thing is to learn and talk about it with each other and gain perspective on what went wrong and what didn't and what worked, and improve not only yourself but also your relationship as you grow with each other. It's important to share insights with each other if you've learned something new, and do a review of the relationship at the end of the year, just like you would do a review for work, and see where you are in terms of your goals and aspirations. It's also important to do the same thing for your relationship at the end of each year, and see what is working and what isn't, and what is helping both of you. Humor is a lifesaver. If you can laugh with each other, you can last with each other, because sometimes we take life too seriously and we don't give ourselves or other people around us enough latitude. And finding joy in laughter, especially during the challenging times where it is difficult for you to go through those times, is so important. This can not only help you lighten the mood, especially during these challenging times, but will also help strengthen your relationship during this time. Express appreciation regularly. This is something that we both are talking about and working on in our own relationship, because there are things that you do where you might feel like you're not getting enough appreciation, and you feel like you are just doing a lot of the work without anybody recognizing your effort. But it's the little things like appreciating your partner for putting the kids to bed one day, or making a cup of tea for you or a cup of coffee for you when you least expected it, or putting together your lunch for the day when when you were busy and you didn't have time. You know, those small moments and little gestures that most of our partners do. It is important to acknowledge and thank them when they are doing these small gestures, because that will go a long way in your relationship. This is something we recently talked about even in our own relationship. So I know it's not something that always is there either, or even if it is there, sometimes you just need that extra attention and love from your loved one. And on the flip side of this, if you feel like you're not being appreciated by your loved one, talk to them about it. Because sometimes, you know, people don't realize, although they might have really appreciated you, they have just not thought of saying thank you for the little gestures. And if you feel like that's what's happening in your relationship, then talk it out. Because until you talk to them about it, they're not going to know. Quality over quantity in arguments. Okay, this is a tough one because I've changed my mind over this over the course of my relationship with my husband. We both come from different points of view. So my husband is not confrontational at all, and he likes to avoid all the arguments as much as possible. But I like to hash it out and just talk it out if I can with him on that day itself. And I don't want to think about it afterwards. For both of us, it's been a learning curve and understanding and figuring it out as to what works for us and what doesn't. The focus should be on resolving the arguments without insulting each other and with respect towards each other. Some arguments just fester even though you think you have resolved it, you have not actually talked about it. And that means that that's something that you both have been thinking about. So resolving arguments with respect to each other is important, something we both work on a lot. The way I have dealt with arguments has changed over the past 20 years. I was one of the people who believed that you cannot go to bed angry and you should talk it out. And what happened was we both were working all day long, and we used to come in the evening, and then at night when we actually had time with each other, something came up and we both disagreed and we had an argument. And then we were talking about it late at night, trying to hash it out when both of us were tired from the day, and nothing used to get resolved. Over the past 20 years, I have come to a point where now I will try to talk it out that day. But if I feel like I am not getting any resolution, then I will just stop talking about it and go to bed. And then in the morning, when we have time and when we can actually give that time to each other, I would bring that topic up and talk to him. Something I recently learned that I have not yet practiced, but I'm going to, is somebody was talking about having a timeout. And I feel that's so amazing because the way they say it works is if you're having an argument, you're not getting any resolution, just take time out and you stop having that argument for 20 minutes and go do your thing, or you can be with each other. After 20 minutes, you get back together and start talking about it. If you feel that you are still upset with that person, you can try to talk about it again, take another time out. Or most of the times they said, you will come back to the person not being that angry anymore. And that makes so much sense that you would not be that angry afterwards. But I have to try it out. If I try it out and it works, I will let you know. Celebrate milestones, big or small. We always try to do this because even if it is a small milestone, we will celebrate it, whether it means that to go out for ice cream or take the twins out for a donut or just go for a fun drive. At the end of it, these small victories in terms of everyday achievements and little moments of joy are going to make the journey more memorable and worth having. Balancing independence and togetherness. This is an interesting one because it's as much as it is important to be together, it is also important to strike the balance between being independent. And whether it means that you have your own independent hobbies that you love and you want to do, or whether it means that you take some time away during the day or go for a girls' trip or a trip with your boys for a weekend. Whatever it might be, as long as you are balancing it out with being together. And of course, if you're just spending that time that you should have been together apart on a girls' trip or a boys' trip, and of course your partner is going to be upset. But if it is done with a balance and after having a conversation and with respect, then that makes a huge difference in how nurturing a relationship can be. Something my husband actually encourages a lot in me is to go on like these hikes by myself. And I usually love to go on hikes with him. So I always tell him, I'm like, no, but I want to go on a hike with you. I was training for a half marathon last month, and he's like, you're trying to achieve a goal and you should just go on the hike so you can build up your stamina and get your goals in, even if it means that he takes care of the kids for the morning. And it's things like that where even though we are together and we would do things together, we would take some time away from each other to do the things that are important for us. Cultivating shared hobbies. Finding and cultivating shared hobbies can be important to creating a stronger bond outside of your day-to-day activities. For us, it is hiking. And that is a hobby that both of us love. Both of us like to be outside in nature. And that is something we have cultivated over the past 7 or 8 years. We didn't start off doing this early on in our relationship. So this is a more recent development for both of us. But early on, I think we both had different hobbies and we both used to do things with each other during that time. Ever since the time we have started spending a lot of time outside and in nature, we have started doing this together. And it not only gives us great family time together, but it is also a fun activity for us. Doesn't make it seem like an ordeal, and overall, it's just a win-win. Admitting when you're wrong, that's a big one. This, I feel, is one of the most difficult things. But admitting when you are wrong and accepting it and apologizing for it will definitely strengthen your bond. It doesn't mean that only one person is always apologizing and that one person is taking the blame for everything. But if you know you've done something wrong and you take the time to apologize, accept your mistake, that is going to make a huge difference in the respect and love that your partner has for you and help you get through some of the difficult arguments in the relationship. It also fosters trust in the partner and demonstrates an ability on your part for personal growth and understanding. Be each other's safe haven. Life is so challenging, and having that one person who is your support system, no matter what, has created such a strong sense of love, understanding, and security for me. I know no matter what that my husband will always be there for me whenever I call him or whenever I ask him for help. And that is one of the most beautiful feelings for me to have. You should have a relationship that is a safe haven in the storm of life that we all deal with. Look at that. Oh, it's so darling. Continuously learning about each other. People change and people evolve, and understanding that and making an effort to continuously learning about your partner and loved one will make a huge difference for you in the relationship. I have found that in our relationship, we have changed so much in the past 20 years of marriage and almost 23 years of being together that it's not the same. I'm not the same person that I was 23 years ago when I started dating him. And he's not the same person either. And for us, it's been a joy learning that person as we are growing with each other and understanding what clicks with that person and what doesn't, and what works and what's important for them at that point in their life. And it has been key in having a successful and happy relationship. Stay curious and stay invested in your partner, because that would be the biggest compliment you can give your partner. If you feel that your partner has a new interest, likes something new, ask them about it. When you sit down for dinner, talk to them about it. Just watch how their face blooms up with joy as they talk about their new interest or this new thing that they are doing in their life. And the more you can learn about these little things in a relationship, the stronger your bond with your partner is going to be. Unplugged together. In a world that is dominated by screens and where people are just watching highlight reels of other people's lives, it is important to just unplug together and spend this time with each other. Something that we have started doing is not getting on any of our devices during dinner time and spending that 30 minutes, 45 minutes with our kids and talking about the day as we end the evening. It is important for all of us to do that. I feel like that has made a huge change in how not only we communicate with each other, but also how the twins feel about the time that they spent with us. And whether it's a weekend getaway or even a simple evening spent at home with each other without Netflix on, it is important to cherish and enjoy these little moments together. I think life has changed ever since I started dating my husband and have been married to him. But one thing that both of us have done well in this relationship is adapt to the changes and be there for each other. However difficult life might be, whatever it has thrown at us, we have both supported and loved each other through it. I hope this video also helps you in having a great relationship with your loved one, and maybe one of these lessons can help you in your own relationship. Thank you so much, everyone, and have an amazing, amazing day. Bye-bye. Hope you all enjoyed this very different video. And if you did, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to see more Lego flowers, let me know in the comments below.